keep your phone off your nightstand, invest in a low-cost alarm clock instead. Data shows that 90% of people within minutes of waking, before their second eye is even open, are scrolling headlines, scrolling their email, checking Slack channels. These are not benign entities. There's no such thing as mindless scrolling. It has a direct influence on your brain, the neurotransmitters, your cortisol, your fight or flight response, and it primes your brain for stress during the day. So one of the most important things that you could do to really help manage your stress is to create some digital boundaries. Now, this is not about becoming a digital monk, because I'm not saying abstinence or censorship is what is required here. In fact, data shows that it's not abstinence from digital devices that helps your health and well-being. It's actually decreasing your reliance on them that does. The other thing I want to say is this is also not about censorship. I mean, my two great loves are medicine and journalism. I do so much work as a health communicator on all sorts of media outlets, and I deeply believe in the power of journalism to inform, connect, and really build and foster activism and community. And more important now than ever, I think it's really important to be an informed citizen, particularly in this era. So you want to be informed, but not at the expense of your mental health. And so one antidote to managing all of this constant onslaught of information is to create some digital boundaries. And there's several practical ways that you can do that. So the first is a geographical boundary. Keep your phone off your nightstand, invest in a low-cost alarm clock instead. Data shows that 90% of people within minutes of waking, before their second eye is even open, are scrolling headlines, scrolling their email, checking Slack channels. These are not benign entities. There's no such thing as mindless scrolling. It has a direct influence on your brain, the neurotransmitters, your cortisol, your fight or flight response, and it primes your brain for stress during the day. This is, again, you don't have to renounce technology. Just keep your phone off your nightstand and wake up, say good morning to your bed partner, say good morning to your kids, go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, and then check your phone. Give your brain a few minutes to just adjust to the light of day, to this cadence of the morning, reflect on the sleep that you got. And so that's one way to do that. It will also decrease your nighttime scrolling because it won't be on your nightstand. You can do something else instead, like read a book, listening to relaxing music, do some stretching, things that we know based on the science have really helped. One of the most common reasons when you ask people, like, why are you not going to bed that time that you want? Most people go to bed 2 hours after their after their time that they really want to. So if you want to go to bed at 10, but you're going to bed at midnight, chances are you're on a screen. And that phenomenon is called revenge bedtime procrastination, especially for working parents like me and perhaps you
break
guys
that
as
down a
well.
little bit. That's one of the coolest terms I've heard when it comes to science and resilience. What does that mean?
Revenge bedtime procrastination. So if your time is not your own during the day, like most of us, when is the moment that you get to yourself, like me time? Revenge bedtime procrastination is a manifestation of hustle culture. So what are you doing? You're working all day, you're not taking any breaks, and then finally, like 8, 9 o'clock, maybe dinner is done, kids are asleep. You have that moment. You sit on your couch. That moment. It's like 9 p.m. You sit down.
It's
You're
the
like,
moment we all wait for all day, right?
all
It's a
day,
golden hour. Yeah.
and you sit. And you're like, just my time. I'm gonna go to bed early tonight, and then you start scrolling, and before you know it, it's 12:30, and you're like, wait, what did I just do? What's happening? It was just like a vortex. It's revenge bedtime procrastination. And what that is your time is not your own. And you have this, your brain needs a break. It needs to decompress. And if it's not decompressing during the day, then it's going to decompress at night. And so you start scrolling that amygdala because you're already so stressed from the day. It's triggered. You get into this stress scroll cycle. And it's like a, rebellious teenager. Your brain's like, I am going to stay up, even against your better judgment. I mean, we know lots of data to show that sleep really is so important when you're feeling a sense of stress, right? Like it's therapeutic for your brain. And yet so many of us are not getting the sleep we need or deserve simply because we're scrolling. It's not like we're doing anything important between the hours of 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. at all. Most likely, you're decompressing in front of a screen of some kind. And so instead, what you could do in that moment when you're about to engage in revenge bedtime procrastination is set your phone to grayscale. The grayscale simply means that you are removing the color from your display and switching to black and white. And you can do this in your phone by going to settings, accessibility, display, color filters, and then going to grayscale. And if you get really savvy at it, you can actually, like I can show you here, I have a phone with a color display, and I've been able to make it go black and white and then back to color.
Wow.
And I use grayscale all the time. And grayscale has shown demonstrated benefit to decrease your screen time because it, the colors is what keeps you scrolling, right? Like, so if you remove the colors, yes, you'll scroll for a bit, but then you'll kind of lose interest because
Just
it makes.
When you think the brain is so complex, you do something simple like that and prove that we're all susceptible to these small tweaks, these resets.
Yeah.